In this episode of Viral Rewind, we're going to look at the Blueballs Windows virus. Now this is 32 bits, so it means it will work on Windows 9X and NT systems, and we're using Windows Millennium here on the IBM Net Vista. And for this virus, we're going to be aided by another little program that we looked at once before called TinyWatcher. Do a quick scan, and this program will allow us to see what files get modified and any registry changes or anything else that happens on the system here as a result of Blueballs. So let me confirm these and get that all cleared. So TinyWatcher is ran, and now it's got the status quo of where the system is now. So let's go ahead and run Blueballs. And when launching Blueballs, there's no visual feedback or anything like that, but I'm looking at the hard drive indicator here on the IBM, and it is going. So that tells me that Blueballs is actively searching out files and making changes to them, namely infecting them. Now Blueballs only infects .exe files, and for what I've seen, it looks like it tries to infect as many .exe files in the Windows System folder and the Windows folder itself. So we'll see those changes in TinyWatcher. So the hard drive has finished its activity, so obviously Blueballs is finished, so let's go ahead and restart the computer, get a fresh boot, and then see what TinyWatcher gives us. So we're loading back into Windows Millennium here. And TinyWatcher should start up and perform its system scan and give us results of what Blueballs has changed on the system as part of its infection routine. So TinyWatcher is running right now, doing its quick scan. Should have quite a number of results. And we do. Look at all these modified files. Let me maximize this. So we see it's got a lot of file modifications, and for the first part, it looks like most of them are all in the Windows System directory here. Quite a number of system applications in that folder got infected, and it looks like it did it to also, again, the Windows directory as well, including a lot of common applications like Calculator, Media Player, Paintbrush, which is Microsoft Paint, the sound recorder, the volume controller, system monitor, task manager, task monitors, telnet. So yeah, it's pretty much infected every .exe application in the Windows directory and Windows System directories according to TinyWatcher. So that tells us what files it has infected. So that's how the infection routine works. The first time you run Blueballs, it infects all the .exes in the Windows and Windows System directories. So let's look at Blueballs payload, which only occurs one day out of the year, which happens to be January 1st, or New Year's Day. So let's see. We know that Calculator is infected. Let's see if the Blueballs payload runs from that, or if I need to reboot the computer and just let it run at startup. Calculator. That's not going to do it. Is running it directly here going to do it? Nope. And it's not rerunning its infection routine either, I can tell, because the hard drive is not doing any activity after clicking that. So we need to restart the computer and let Windows boot up on January 1st to see the payload. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So we're getting back into Windows Millennium here, and we should see the Blueballs payload. And there's the Blueballs payload. You see in the corners there, all these blue circles, or blue balls from the virus name, are filling up these corners, slowly working their way toward at least this middle part of the screen here. Let me cancel out Tiny Watcher because we know what's changed. So it's obvious that Blueballs here, this graphic payload it's got was hard-coded for only an 800 by 600 or smaller resolution display. We're running at 1024 by 768 here, so it's not scaled properly to this display for the payload. Of course, we can very quickly change this resolution. Problem with the Blueballs payload is it makes it really hard to see where my mouse cursor is. So I'm trying to see where it is here, but if you know how to, you can also use the computer keyboard. Let's see if I can do it this way. Settings, 800 by 600. And now you can see that the Blueballs payload is now scaled correctly because we've got the resolution set to a lower value of 800 by 600 pixels, which is apparently what the Blueballs payload was hard-coded for. And it also makes the balls a little more apparent because the balls are actually larger when you reduce the resolution like that. But that's pretty much how the Blueballs payload works. It's not destructive in any way. It doesn't delete system files or your documents or anything, but again, as we saw, it does infect all the .exe executable files in the Windows system and Windows folders. So you will have to still pretty much reinstall Windows to get clean copies of those if you want to. Now, of course, we can kill the Blueballs payload, and it's the very last one here, this command inst whatever. We end its task, the payload stops. And we can refresh the desktop to get rid of it. And the Blueballs payload will persist over the start menu and obviously the icons like we saw. It will also overlay windows and anything like that. So it always tries to stay on top of everything that's on the screen there. But that's pretty much it for the Blueballs Win32 virus.